Today we continue to listen Brahma Vihara Dhamma, Karuna Bhavana. Makaruniko nato hitaya savapaninam puritva parami sabha pato sambodhi muktamam. The Buddha, who is possessed of great compassion, fulfilled all the perfections for the benefits of all beings, and reached the highest state as a fully enlightened one. By this utterance of truth, may there always be happiness for you. Now we pay homage to Compassionate Buddha. Follow me, Rudy. We pay homage to the Buddha, who is possessed of great compassion. We pay homage to the fully enlightened Buddha, who is possessed of great compassion. We pay homage to the fully enlightened Buddha, who is possessed of great compassion. Sadhu. So we have in mind to preach in accordance with the four objectives. Number one, to gain more knowledgeable experience. Number two, to enhance the treasures of faith and reverence. Number three, to make it obvious for developing Karuna compassion. And number four, to display and disclose the manner of contemplating vipassana. Having already preached the manner of arising of Magruna, great compassion, concerning four kinds of Dhammodesa, exposition of Dhamma, we deliver the Dhamma relating to how sentient beings are hit and pierced by arrows, how they are trapped in net, how they are drifting in the current of water, and how they are being burnt by blazing fires. First, let me preach relating to how living beings are pierced by arrows. Sasan lo loka sandiwaso vedo buddhu sanlehi natinyo kochi salana udata inyatramaya. That means Buddha surveyed the world and he saw beings are being pierced by arrows. All beings are pierced by arrows. With many arrows, they are hit and pierced. Except Buddha. There is no any single person capable of taking out or removing the arrow that is pierced. See in this way, in the hearts of the Buddhas, great compassion has occurred towards beings. So in this paragraph, Sanla Bali, Sanla in Bali, in this regard, refers to stake or stump or an arrow. It would be acceptable if it were mentioned as a stump, that is a pointed, stout, piece of wood projected from the ground. However, in the commentary, it has been stated as arrow. So you may imagine as having had sympathy for all beings who are pierced by arrows. Just as people are injured or wounded by gunshots while fighting in a war, as in the present era, the people in the ancient times who were hit by arrows during fight also received injuries. Sentient beings face suffering similar to those who have suffered from pain caused by the piercing arrows. The kinds of arrows that has pierced is akusala, unwholesome, arrows of demerits, such as raga, dosa, moha, mana, deity, vichikecha, and docharita. How many arrows? 7. Can you follow me? Raga, dosa, moha, mana, deity, vichikecha, docharita. How many arrows? 7. What is raga? Raga is lust. Dosa, anger or evil. Moha, delusion. Mana, pride. Deity, wrong views. And vichikecha, doubt. And docharita, wrongdoing. Yes. So these immoral conduct, if pierced through the body from the breast to the backbone, it would be very distressing and painful. In the same manner, beings are really pitiable for having been hit and pierced by the 7 arrows of raga, dosa, moha, mana, deity, vichikecha, and docharita. Raga, lust, dosa, evil, moha, delusion, mana, pride, deity, wrong view, vichikecha, doubt, and docharita, immoral conduct. And yet, as ordinary worldlings, they are rather pleased for being pierced by the arrows. Sentient beings in the sensual realms, enjoying all the sensation of sensual pleasures, have found a taste for kamaraga, sensual desire. That is why they are nurturing and encouraging, and they are in hot pursuit of the sensation of sensual pleasures. From the point of view of Buddhas and Arahants, they see and feed the arising sensation of sensual desire as being unbearable, just as if they are pierced by arrows. Raga lust, which tends to have pleasurable attachment to rupa bhava, form existences, and arupa bhava, formless existence, has the same nature of intolerance that can hardly be endured. Then another arrow, dosa, anger. The manner of piercing by the arrow of anger is more conspicuous. From the state of happiness which reflects on personal appearances, the complexion of the face immediately turns black, ugly, and gloomy when anger blazes up. The mind of the angry person becomes restless and intolerable. However, the man in an angry mood thinks of the arising anger as pleasurable. For this reason, if any other person with goodwill intervenes to bring about a compromise and advise to refrain from anger and bearing grudge, an angry person is likely to resent, is likely to annoy. He may even think of that mediator as unfairly taking sides. And another arrow is moha, delusion. Moha means a mistaken or false view, not knowing what is right, not knowing what is true. What is impermanent or what is transitory is thought of as permanent and everlasting. All things are incessantly arising and dissolving. The man consider all things which are incessantly arising and dissolving as pleasurable. The nature of rupa and nama, the nature of mind and body, which is not an self, which is not a living entity, is looked upon as a living entity or self or a being. If lust and anger occur, moha, delusion follow suit. Sentient beings pierced by arrows of delusion are in misery. Under delusion, a person commits anything which is improper by physical actions or by speech or by thought. Having done so, only demerits are derived, thereby causing miserable condition. Another error is mana, conceit. Also, because of the arrow or stump of mana, conceit, one meets with misery for his unworthy self-pride or vanity. Another error is deity, wrong views. Because of the error of wrong view, which has pierced through the mental aggregates, men cling to false beliefs. They cannot discard or part with them, falsely hoping to gain benefits. What ought not to be done is done physically, verbally, and mentally. Because of these vices, they all suffer misery. During the lifetime of the Lord Buddha, Purana Kassapa and a bunch of 5 other teachers of a heretical sect, together with their followers, had unfortunately accumulated a great deal of demerits for committing vices. They had gone to the extent of doing wrong to the Buddha. For these vicious thoughts and evil actions, wrongdoing, they had derived demerits in return. For these demerits, they were committed to hell, they are sent to hell, and they had suffered intense misery as a result. There are quite a number of people who are suffering misery for being pierced by the arrow of deity, false belief. And another arrow is vicikiccha, doubt. There are others suffering for being pierced by the rest of the kilesa, such as vicikiccha, skeptical doubt. Vicikiccha, skeptical doubt means feeling of doubt as to whether the true Buddha, true Dhamma, true Sangha are really the truth. So you have to practice moral training, sila. You have to practice concentration. You have to practice pinya, vipassana, bhavana. If you practice sila, samadhi, and pinya, morality, concentration, wisdom, you can obtain the advantages in practicing morality, concentration, and wisdom. And you can attain jhana, and you can achieve vipassana, insight knowledge, or you can realize nibbana through Meganyana and Phalanyana, path and fruition, but the person do not believe. He have doubt to practice Sila Samadhi Pinya, morality, concentration and wisdom. So that is Vijigija, skeptical doubt. Then if any doubt arises as to whether rebirth will really takes place in existences under happy condition by virtue of kusala karma, wholesome deeds, or one has to suffer in the four lower states for the resultant effects of his unwholesome karma, unwholesome deeds, immoral actions. If he doubtful, it is vijigija, skeptical doubt. For having been pierced by the arrow of skeptical doubt, he or she cannot practice vipassana meditation in accordance with the correct method or on the right lines. Such being the case, there will hardly be any chance to escape from the misery of samsara, which are bound to come across. And next, the piercing arrow of what is called docharita, evil deeds or misconduct, is conjoined with the arrows of mental defilements such as lust, anger, etc. When raga, lust, is raging, evil deeds of docharita karma, misconducts such as acts of killing, stealing, cheating, etc., are sure to be committed. For such akusala karma or demeritorious immoral actions, he or she would descend to the four lower states and suffer misery. Undoubtedly, there are a number of people who will go down to the four lower states and who will thereby suffer miserable condition. So compassion had arisen in the hearts of the Buddha for having seen those beings who are pierced by arrows such as lust, anger, etc. Being moved to compassion, which has sprung from the heart, Buddha had delivered his teachings under varying circumstances for the entire period of 45 years, day and night, without rest. Individuals who have diligently practiced in accordance with the teaching of the Buddha are able to get rid of the piercing arrows of lust, anger, etc. If you can remove one arrow that has pierced through, you get better to the extent a single arrow would have caused you hurt or pain. Accordingly, yogis who diligently practice Dhamma gradually gets rid of the arrows of defilements one after another until he or she is entirely relieved from all sufferings. Now let us see how to get rid of an arrow by contemplating and noting the Dhamma. At present, those yogis who are continuously contemplating and noting psychophysical phenomena arising from the six sense doors, that is, contemplating what is going on in one's mind and body in accordance with the teaching on mindfulness meditation, are free from five nivaranas, five mental hindrances: kamicchanda, sensual desire; vyavara, evil; tinamida, sloth and torpor; uddhacca, kukucca, restlessness and worry; and vicikicca, doubt. He or she is free from mental hindrances, obstacle to the progress of meditation, when their mind becomes tranquil and stabilized. This is called citta visuddhi, purity of mind. With the mind becoming tranquil and cleansed of the mental hindrances at every moment of contemplating and noting, it occurs to the minds of the meditator with awareness that what is contemplated and known is quite different from the mind that contemplates and knows. Anatta without substance or atta. And he or she knows Namarupa, these two are distinguished. When the rising movements of the abdomen is contemplated and known, the rupa, that is rising abdominal wall, and the mind, nama, that contemplates and knows, are distinguishingly known. Similar knowledge will be realized in contemplating the falling of the abdomen and the acts of walking, stepping, dropping, bending, and so on. Every time it is so contemplated and noted, what is to be known and the knowing mind, Rupa and Nama, mind and matter, are well appreciated as the only two attributes of an individual, representing material and mental elements which form an aggregate of as sentient beings. This appreciation or this knowledge dispelling to a certain extent of error of wrong view is known as Ditthi Visuddhi. Purity of wrong view. Thereafter, if contemplation and noting is carried on, cause and effect will be distinguishingly known in that because of mental inclination to bend, bending, which is rupa, takes place. Also because of the will to walk, the act of walking, rupa happens. Because of the object of sensation which is to be known, the knowing mind occurs, etc. At that moment, the piercing arrow of doubt called kinka has been cleared away to a reasonable extent. From then onwards, at every moment of contemplation and noting, the beginning of the phenomena occurrence and the final dissolution of what has occurred will be clearly perceived and realized. The nature of such arising and dissolution in respect of the other phenomena occurrences in the body and mind, such as stiffness and upward and downward movements of the abdominal wall, and of bending, stretching, lifting, stepping, and so on, will be distantly known, part by part. When your contemplation is complete. When realization comes, it will be fully appreciated with awareness that these are mere characteristics of impermanence. And these are mere characteristics of misery, constituting the nature of anatta, nature of non-self. When there is such realization of the existence of only rupa and nama, mind and matter, it will be found that what the Buddha has preached as being impermanence, misery and non-self is totally true and correct. This awareness and understanding will enhance your faith in the true Buddha as really and omniscient. Belief in the Dharma as preached by the Buddha will get firmer or strengthened. Faith in the true Sangha, the noble disciple of the Buddha, who are diligently practicing according to the preaching of the Buddha, we become stronger. Depending upon the degree of faith and belief, skeptical doubt will be cleared away. Now onwards, when contemplation and noting is further carried on, progress will be made, leading you to the achievement of the knowledge of Vipassana. 10 stages in all. Step by step towards Nibbana, where mind and matter and all misery will come to a cessation through the attainment of Ariya Mega Jnana. Then awareness of consciousness firmly takes place that there is no such thing as an self. And that the entire so-called body is composed of only two things, Rupa and Nama, mind and matter. As such, all false view commencing from Atta Deity, self-view, Sakaya Deity, personality view will be completely eradicated. This explains how the arrow of wrong view has been fully got rid of. Mahasi Sayadaw have the motto relevant to the foregoing explanatory account has been composed in this way. There is nothing to be considered as I. There is nothing to be considered as an individual or self, except as an aggregate of Rupa and Nama, body and mind. This illustrates how a Sotapanna is free from Sakaya Deity, a false view of self. While contemplating and noting, or reflecting, knowledge or awareness is clear that there is only an aggregate of Rupa and Nama, body and mind, which is arising and dissolving incessantly. And that there is no such thing as an self or I or being. And then there is no doubt about the efficacy and noble moral qualities of moral conduct, morality, concentration, and wisdom. Firm conviction and faith without a thing of doubt also arise that only by practicing to gain accomplishment of the qualities of morality, concentration, and wisdom, Nibbana can be reached. In particular, only by the true realization of the characteristics of anicca, impermanence, etc., Through continuous contemplation of the arising phenomena of mind and body, Nibbana can be attained. Relating to this, Master Sayadaw have this motto: having nothing to doubt about the practice and having nothing to doubt about the triple gem, true Buddha, true Dhamma, and true Sangha. And also in the Yatana Sutta, it mentioned Sawisa Dasana Sambadaya Tyasu Dhamma Jita Bondi Sakaya Deiti Vichikeji Tinja Sila Badanwa Bi Yadati Genji. That means with the attainment of the first path, the three states, namely self-illusion, Sakaya Deiti, doubt, Vichikeja, and belief in wrong habits and practice as a way of purification, Silabara Brahmasa, are abandoned in Sotapanna. So how many kilesa abandoned in Sotapanna? 3. Sakaya Ditti, self-illusion, and Vichikeja, doubt, and Silabara Brahmasa, belief in wrong habits and practice. So from the Yatana Sutta, the Sutta of jewels, can you follow me? With the attainment of the first path, 3 states, namely Sakaya Ditti, self-illusion, Vichikeja, doubt, Silabara Paramasa, belief in wrong habits and practice as a way of purification, are abandoned in Sotapanna. So 3 Sanyojana are abandoned: self-illusion, Sakaya Deity, and doubt, Vichikeja, Silabara Pramasa, belief in wrong habits and practice as a way of purification, are abandoned. And also for Sotapanna, he abandons some other defilements. So this is how to get rid of Vichikeja, skeptical doubt, in connection with the true Buddha, true Dhamma, and true Sangha, as well as the noble practice involving morality. It also indicates how a Sotapanna is freed from skeptical doubt. This is a manner how yogi can be fully liberated from the piercing arrows of skeptical doubt, according to the teaching of the Buddha. If dispelled from the false view of Sakaya Deity, personality view, and Vichikeja doubt, others defilements such as lust, evil, delusion, pride, etc., which can drag him down to the 4 woeful states, will be eradicated. all bad karmas, the resultant effect of evil deeds, which can cause him to land in four woeful states, will also be eradicated. So if he becomes a Sotapanna through the practice of Vipassana meditation, he will escape from the harm inflicted by the arrows, which can cause misery by pulling him down to the realms of the four woeful states. The Buddha had therefore preached his noble Dharma with great compassion towards all beings. So we are following in the footsteps of the Buddha in imparting his teaching Dharma with a view to enable beings to escape from such harmful arrows. And then if yogi proceed to contemplate and note, after his attainment of the status of Sotapanna, the first stage of progressive area, noble ones, he will become a Sakadagami and then a Nagami, non-returner. On attainment of a Nagamiship, he or she will again be free from the arrows of Kamaraga, sensual desire, and Vyabhara ill will. Thereafter, if contemplation and noting is further carried on, he or she will attain arhatship after reaching Arhata Megaphala. On becoming an arhat, the stinging arrows of Ruparaga, Aruparaga, desire for form and formless realms, mana, conceit, avijja, ignorance, will be totally liberated. It means that all arrows of akusala, unwholesome, smear with mental defilements, will be completely destroyed. That is why noble arhats after Prinivana will be totally emancipated from all kinds of suffering attached to Rupa, Nama, Sankara, for having been free from all kinds of sorrows, all kinds of errors. This would bring them everlasting peace and happiness, Santi Sukha. Before reaching the state of a worthy arhat, even an anagami who can yet be pierced by the arrows of Ruparaga, Aruparaga, desire for form and formless realms, would still be subjected to conditioned misery of existence. After reaching the abodes of form and formless Brahmas. As for Sotapannas and Sakadagami, since sharp arrows of Kamaraga, sensual desire, etc., can penetrate them. We have their rebirths in existence of human beings and celestial beings, whereby they have to go through miserable condition of aging, sickness, death, etc. Finding the beings stuck with those arrows, the Buddha's heart was filled with compassion and thus with a feeling of deep compassion. He had preached the Dharma despite the fact that he had to undergo a lot of hardship solely for the sake of the emancipation of all beings. In particular, having observed and found the worldlings suffering in misery for being stuck with such arrows piercing through their material aggregates, the Buddha reflected and realized that there was no other person except Buddha who would remove those sharp-pointed arrows. So the compassionate Buddha went on preaching the Dhamma. So it mentioned there's no any other single person capable of removing the sharp-pointed arrows except the Buddha. Having observed in this way in the hearts of the Buddha, great compassion has arisen towards all beings. It has been stated as such in the Patisambhida Mega Pali. So we have to stop our discourse for today. We will continue next week by practicing Metta Bhavana, Karuna Bhavana, loving kindness and compassion, by practicing Vipassana meditation, by noting rising, falling, sitting, standing, walking, stretching, bending, seeing, hearing, smelling, continuously and meticulously. May all yogis be liberated from all suffering. May all yogis realize the real peace in the very near future.